What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of 𝐦𝐨𝐿. It's Top 5 Tuesday, and today we'll be taking a look at the top 5 legacy aspects. And this is going to be in part with another video that I'm going to make about spiritual nepotism, or really nepotism in general, but really spiritualizing that idea and all of that. So this top 5 list kind of plays towards that idea. And legacy aspects are one of those things that I see in the chart that will indicate a person has the ability to inherit some type of fortune, business, skill, career path, so on and so forth. So anybody who's a student of mine has been really rocking with me in my train of thought knows that, like, I mean this in the broadest terms. So these will be one of the ones that we definitely come back to, because there are many positions that correspond towards the legacy aspect. That's the part of astrology that makes it like a puzzle. So, like I said, if I do one position in the 10th house, know that there are other positions in the 10th house that I could correlate to that. It will just be in combination with stuff. So I'm just going to seek to give you guys really, not too, the ones that aren't too complicated right now. All right. So the first one that I see a lot, and I'm going to frame this in terms of just the moon. I'm associated with the moon. Whenever the moon tends to come into houses 2nd, 6th, and 10th, and this to a degree, the 9th house as well, right? This can correlate in a person following in the footsteps of the particular parent. More than likely, it'll be the mother or the more nurturing one. So this can be connected to the father too, depending on other dynamics in the chart. So why is this like a legacy aspect? Well, in the second house, it speaks of inherited values. The second house, along with, like the fourth, will really give you, even the third, though, that little cluster of energy down there, give you an idea of what things that the person was really exposed to, that in their early environment, that later on becomes of some type of benefit or moral value to them, how they live their life. So, a simple example would be like someone who comes from a family of athletes. They may spend a majority of their early life being within that environment. So there's an emotional connection towards the particular sport or the area of life. This can also be seen with writers. And like even just under the same guise of the same field. So remember, we're thinking in the sense of the 2nd, the 6th, and the 10th. These are natural earth houses. So when it comes to, just think of it in the career, the child is exposed to the parent's career or some particular area of life that has an emotional impact on their forming psyche. So pay attention to your moon and then the aspects. So furthermore, like if you're reading here and wanting to get an idea of what this may be, a moon trine Neptune or aspect to Neptune can indicate maybe this has something to do with religion or spirituality. And then that aspect will give more insight into kind of how it played out. But like I said, these legacy aspects aren't always directly as parent did this, I'm gonna do the same exact thing. It could also be under the same umbrella or like a guise of life. So this brings me to the next part. Alignments in the 11th and 5th. So particularly, let's say if we get some Sun Saturn action here, whether it be by opposition, whether it be by really good connection. So 5th house being the house of creativity, self-actualization. The 11th house being the house of popularity, humanitarian effort, the group, that particular thing. So when you get action in both these houses, or just really strong action in one, let's say a Leo sun in the 5th, okay, with really good supported So in its own sign, or a Cancer moon in the 11th. This can show that particular parent being immensely powerful or popular or successful in a given field, and the person that influence helping mold their ego or their own self-expression and humanitarian views. What comes to mind on this, they're interesting because they have the same moon, which is in Capricorn, and I'd have to sit with the charts, but Jaden and Willow Smith come to mind here. They're both Capricorn moons with water suns, and the Aquarius energy is strong within them, and it's strong within their parents. All right, so alignments to the 11th and 5th. The next one, we're going to go with Pluto in the 10th. So Pluto in the 10th is a really direct one. So, Pluto is dealing with power. It's dealing with joint finances, deep desires, transformation. And here in the 10th, it can represent all that potential. Now, whether or not the person, how they handle this will further be seen by the aspects of the Pluto and other, positions in the chart, but it does show being able to inherit some type of personal power, public image leading to power that tailors off of whether it be the father, the family. This is within itself can speak of a legacy, okay? Political legacy, on a smaller level. If let's say no one has a Pluto in Cancer, that's a bad example. But let's say we have like a Pluto and Libra person in this position connected with like some Cancer energy, that can show a legacy through like a family business, okay? So Pluto in 10 is a really strong influence. And I always try to tell people with this position, even if because then Chiron could be present too for a lot of people in the 9th, 10th somewhere. So it may not even be, it could be where that loss of influence through your father and not having your father there has such of an impact that it takes away from you being able to hone in on your personal power and kind of direct it in that area. But depending on how you channel that chip on your shoulder, how you transform that position, its results will differ. But definitely a lot of potential for personal power and everything that the 10th house brings along with it. All right. Next position here, we could go ruler of the ascendant in the 4th house. Okay. And that there shows, when we say legacy here, this is more on a karmic level. Just, this could be many things, right? But in a simple sense, and depending on the planet involved, whether it be the moon, Venus, the ruling planet here is going to be revealing. But when this planet ends up in the 4th house, there is a karmic link to the dominating parent. And this will also be clarified by other positions, but it can simply, in a sense, indicate when, like, there may be a history of like teenage pregnancy in a family. So you'll find a lot of times that certain, like you'll have a mother, a aunt, a cousin, all particularly getting pregnant around the same ages, right? Generations change, but around the same age. And that can be something in the sense of like a legacy. We could call it karma. But depending on, now in the next vein, if there's like a tradition, right, of like inheriting a house. So this could also be connected to the 8th and stuff too. But whatever the cultural or karmic patterning is of that family one has been born into, when the ruler of your chart is there, you're kind of tied into that pattern, whether or not you become conscious of it. And if you're on your spiritual journey, eventually you will, okay? And then lastly, when it comes to legacy aspects, when we get stelliums in the 3rd, 7th, and 11th specifically, this really shows, because stelliums create a great focus of particular energy. Now, keep in mind that what I said before, these positions alone won't be enough to say that is it, but it's a strong indicator of why the legacy is playing out the way that it's playing. So, for example, if this legacy aspect is happening, if this stellium is happening here in the third house involving Venus, Mars, and let's say Sun, this plays out where in the sense that maybe one's father was or parent was some type of entertainer, and now it's dealing with expression and communicating one's thoughts. So let's say more specifically they were a musician. This can just show by natural force of influence and of whether it being in your genetic code or being around that influence, by virtue you find some place in this realm of expression. So almost like, in a sense, like let's use Blue Ivy. She may not be musically inclined, but she has all the dynamics or resources around her to become a CEO. If Blue Ivy were to go on to become the youngest CEO of a record label, no one's questioning that. It's like all this energy was concentrated here, and it needs a means of expression. And that's how this particular individual is going to go about expressing it. So it doesn't always have to be the same, but I'm going to take the legacy of this creative expression or the legacy of this rebellious spirit and mold it into my own, right? And keep that energy or spirit alive. Oh, I should have used the Marleys. I should have used the Marleys as an example for this. But we'll part to that, all right? This is my top 5 legacy aspects. Like I said, we keep going with this. If you're one of these people, and maybe none of these aspects appeal, but if you are like a legacy person, feel free to comment what you believe provides that influence in your chart, and we'll build from there. And like I said before, feel free to let me know if you have any top 5 suggestions. Let me know. We'll keep it going. If you need a reading, check my website. Send me an email. Till next time, peace.